So to configure a Davantis system to work with the Knowio app, take your Davantis NVR, go into your cameras and check your rules on your cameras. By default, rules on a Davantis system are configured to use partition 1. This can be changed to no partition, or you can choose the various number of inputs on the back of your Davantis. For the purposes of using the Knowio app, you need to go into the configuration of your Davantis system and change it to software mode. So if you go to the partitions tab at the bottom, you can see that there's software mode here. I already have it selected, but by default, this is usually set to the internal type C. Your physical inputs listed here showing the arm state, or whether they're disarmed if you have something physically wired, such as a keypad, to the back of the Davantis system. But for the purposes of using the Knowio app, we need to click software panel and hit apply. After that, it's a case of configuring the Knowio app with the IP address of your Davantis system and the username and password. So to configure the Knowio app with a Davantis unit, you should be aware that the 4 output buttons correlate to the partitions on the Davantis. So output 1 correlates to partition 1 on the Davantis, output 2 correlates to partition 2 on the Davantis, and so on. So for example, if you had set your cameras up with rules and the front cameras were using partition 1, we could go in and rename our output 1 to front for the sake of readability and save that. And we can go into edit output 2 and we'll call that rear and save that. And we now have 2 buttons, front and rear, which will correspond to partitions 1 and partitions 2 on the Davantis. To link our app to an actual Davantis unit, we go into devices and you would press the plus icon in the top here and choose CCTV system and Davantis, and you will enter your IP address, the public IP address, and the port number to access the Davantis, along with your admin password. Now regarding the port, our app uses port 21000 by default, which is a default Davantis port. If you change that port on the Davantis, then obviously you need to change that here in the app, or if you are doing any kind of port mapping on your firewall, then obviously use the relevant port. I'm going to come back out of here because I have one set up already. But once you've added your device, you will press the little chain icon to link your Davantis system to the buttons. So we want to link our Davantis to the front button, and if we press our chain icon again and link it to our rear button, so our Davantis unit is now linked to both the front and the rear buttons. We press Control to go back to our page which shows our buttons. We can now arm our front cameras and arm our rear cameras. Now we can obviously have four buttons, 4 zones. We can hide zones if we don't want to see them any longer. So for example, output 3, to see that button anymore, leaves us our 2 buttons. And if you're going to use the Davantis with our smart padlocks and have a rule in place that arms and disarms the Davantis, then we recommend you put the padlock on output 4. That leaves you partitions 1, 2 and 3 corresponding to buttons outputs 1, 2 and 3 on our app, free to use with the Davantis, and have your padlock on output 4. So as the final part of testing, connecting a Davantis unit up to the Knowio app, we have entered the details into the app, the public IP address and password. So now it's a simple case of checking on your Davantis, going into the configuration and bringing up the partitions tab, as we can see here, into partitions. And I'm going to press the button we previously named front. And as you can see, that has disarmed partition 1 on the Davantis. Press the button again, it will rearm. And button 2, which we renamed as rear, press that, will disarm partition 2. Any cameras linked to that will now be disarmed. We can rearm it. Similarly, you can do partition 3, but we had deactivated the button in the previous part of the video, and we have left output 4 free to add a padlock. You can obviously keep that in use for the Davantis if you prefer. And that's it. You have a working app that is arming and disarming your Davantis.